Caloroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. In Edinburgh, they've opened the first hospital dedicated entirely to houseplants. Yes, it is called the Hilda Houseplant Hospital. It was created by Rosanna to help people rescue struggling indoor plants without having to become gardening experts themselves. She explained, you bring your plant in, and we take a patient history, essentially find out how long they've had it, what they think might be wrong, and what they want to happen with it. Depending on the diagnosis, the plants may be repotted, trimmed, treated for pests, or placed in quarantine to prevent insects from spreading. I love this. Some plants even receive liquid drips to help nurse them back to health. Once the treatment is complete, the plant gets a final cleaning, and then the owner is told, hey, come pick up your plant. Rosanna said, I had this idea from when I first got into houseplants because that was what I wanted. The feedback was that people wanted a drop-off. A few people wanted to learn how to do it themselves. That's why we run workshops, but the majority of people wanted it done for them. She also has some tips for anyone trying to keep houseplants healthy. Let me pay attention here as I read this to you. Instead of watering on a strict weekly schedule, you mean like the guy that does it every Sunday? She recommends simply lifting the pot. If it feels light, it's probably time to water. During heat waves, and we're having more and more of those, folks, she suggests moving plants away from direct sunlight to avoid scorched leaves and keeping an eye out for pests that may enter through the windows. She says, we're not trying to make it overcomplicated or make people feel like they have a whole new degree in science to understand. Good news for Julie the elephant. She is Portugal's final circus elephant. She has now begun her retirement. She has arrived at the Pangaea Elephant Sanctuary in Portugal, becoming the first resident of the country's sanctuary created specifically for former working elephants. Julie spent nearly 40 years performing in circuses after being captured in the wild as a calf. Back in the 80s, she began appearing under the big top in 1988. In 2018, Portugal passed legislation banning the use of wild animals in circus performances. The ban took full effect in 2024, leaving Julie without a permanent home. Yeah, there's that part of it. The Pangaea Elephant Sanctuary contacted her former owner and planned out the relocation. On June 30th, Julie made the 3-hour journey by truck to her new home. The sanctuary says she settled in almost immediately, exploring the grounds and investigating one of the property's watering holes. Kate Moore is the managing director and says her focus is now to give Julie the best possible quality of life in her time ahead. The sanctuary hopes they can eventually provide a home for about 35 elephants rescued from circuses, zoos, and other working environments. Julie is expected to be joined later this year by Kariba. Kariba was also captured in the wild decades ago and is currently living alone at a zoo in Belgium. Have you seen Jimothy the raccoon online? You probably have. Jimothy has captured the internet's attention because of his unusually round shape, believed to be the result of a rare congenital spinal condition. Despite his appearance, wildlife observers say Jimothy's healthy, active, and continues to roam Seattle neighborhoods like any other raccoon. Seattle artist Ryan Henry Ward decided to turn the viral moment into something that could help the community. Ward created a painting of Jimothy and auctioned it off. Every dollar raised benefits the Ballard Food Bank. On a social media post, Ward wrote, Jimothy, the hero we needed. I've decided to give 100% of the money made from this painting to Ballard Food Bank, a place that helped me through some of my hardest times. The winning bid, $6,543.21. It's Angela who purchased the artwork. Ward donated the full amount to the bank within 24 hours. Not sure this is good news, but it's weird news. More than 200 gold statuettes of Mozart were stolen, leaving a tribute to Mozart on his 270th birthday kind of messed up. The Mozarteum Foundation unveiled 320 statuettes on July 15th. They were all about 20 inches high, showing Mozart with his dog. Within 2 weeks, more than 80 had disappeared. By the middle of last week, 210 were missing. The artist said the worst thing for an artist is when his work dissolves. He believes it was an organized theft. Now, the plan was when the exhibition ended, he was going to sell them for about 100 euros, which is $114 or so, depending on your currency exchange. So it's not like the thieves got rich. Anyway, whatever's left of the statues, you can go see them until August 30th. All right, John, why were you late for work this time? Well, you see, boss, I was there on Ohio State Route 316 in Pickaway County, and it was an overturned truck. Everybody's okay. You know how the show works. I don't do sad news like that. But the truck lost its load of pickles, covering the highway in pickles, and they had to close down the highway. The Ohio Department of Transportation posted on social media there was quite a pickle on the highway. They wanted us to know the driver was not injured, but the pickles, however, are speared. Traffic backed up while cleanup crews removed both the truck and the thousands of pickles. Those are your 5 good news stories for today. If you would like this program without commercial interruption, if you're on the Apple Podcast app, click that banner that says Uninterrupted Listening. It'll walk you through how that works. Short version, $5 a month, first 30 days free. And don't forget, I host a podcast that's called Daily Comedy News about comedians in the comedy industry. It's a nice way to wake up in the morning, 12 minutes or so. I keep it light, kind of like this show, but, comedy. All right, have a great day.